Hit record.
Okay. I'm Tim Vallillee. I'm 50 years old, and I have a story to tell you. But first, I want to let you know that, in life, all you have to do is you have to have a dream. Dreams are very important. If you don't have a dream in life, I don't know what you're breathing for. But your dreams have to be something that's actually possible, something that you can attain, something within the realm of reality. The cool thing is that I believe in that because I'm the proof in that. In 1968, I was diagnosed with quite a deadly illness that was going to probably kill me by the time I was 2 years old. At that time, I had two wonderful parents who said, no, he's not gonna die at 2 years old. He's gonna stick around. So I very quickly adopted their mentality. And I also had that dream. I dreamt of living. And I dreamt of turning 10 years old. I dreamt of driving a car someday. I dreamt of graduating from high school. I dreamt of maybe going to university. Maybe someday I would get married and be a dad. Maybe I'd even be a grandfather someday. But my whole life I was told that would never ever happen. Because I lived with a very deadly illness, and that illness was cystic fibrosis. And in 1968, the life expectancy of somebody with cystic fibrosis was 2. But I said no, because I had a dream. My dream was to live long enough to see a cure or at least a major control for cystic fibrosis. So I kept on dreaming. But I didn't just dream, I had to actually endure the life of cystic fibrosis. When I was a little kid, I slept in a tent. No, not in the backyard. I actually slept in a tent over my bed, and that tent was made of plastic, and there was a hose that went in it, and it gave me life-sustaining medicine all night long. My mom had to change my bed every single day and do the laundry every single day for the first 10 years of my life. God love her. I also had to endure physiotherapy every single day, 3 times a day. My parents used to beat the snot right out of me. Well, out of my lungs anyway, because with cystic fibrosis, you have lots of this mucus that just keeps loading your lungs and it slowly cuts off your breath. So they had to pound my chest 3 times a day, every single day, so that I can get that stuff out of my lungs so that I could breathe. Thank God they could do that. The secret is that you just already have to live, like I said, you have to live as though you've already achieved that dream. I always dreamt about a cure or a major control for cystic fibrosis. And 4 years ago, my dream came true. An amazing drug came out that helped my very rare mutation of cystic fibrosis, and it has changed my life. I now breathe so deep. I have so much energy. I now know I'm going to live to be an old man, and now maybe I will be a grandfather someday. Remember, I only dreamt of being 10 years old at one time. If I could achieve being 10 years old, that would have been great. But I did turn 10. I did get that driver's license. I did graduate from high school. I did go to university. I got married and divorced and married again. Kept that one. Had a little boy. And now maybe I will be a grandfather someday. You just have to believe in your dreams, because if you live in that space in your head where they've already come true, they will come true. Well, besides sleeping in a tent every night, I also had to take a handful of medication just like this every single meal. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Imagine taking a handful of medication like this with every meal. Well, over my lifetime, I've gone from this to this. Medical advances have really changed. I am so thankful that I only have to take 4 or 5 pills per meal now. It's really saved a lot of my time. I also went from doing an aerosol mask every day with some very special medication that goes inside, breathing it in to get my lungs to breathe properly, to not even needing it anymore. That's awesome. And it's all thanks to this amazing medication that I got a few years ago called Kalydeco. This little blue pill has really changed my life. And I'm now able to breathe so much deeper, have so much energy, all over this little miracle medication. So when I first got Kalydeco, I took a pill, and the very next day I could sense the changes. I grew up with always this morning hack my lungs out every single morning. And the very next day I didn't have the hack, and I was like, maybe I'm just really excited because this was such an amazing trip to get. Anyway, I haven't hacked since the day I started the drug. And believe me, when you hack your lungs out every morning, it's exhausting. To not do that for 4 years, it's so weird, but it's really great. If it wasn't for the Nova Scotia government stepping up and helping to pay for this thing, which is very expensive, I probably would not even be talking to you today. I probably would, I wouldn't be here. My lung function was dipping really, really down to the dangerous zone. I was probably soon looking at lung transplant, and I never wanted to go through a lung transplant. I didn't ever want to put that seed into my head that I would need a lung transplant, but sometimes illnesses have their own dream. Sometimes they do get the upper hand, and you can't always control that part. But I got this amazing medication, and it's really changed my life. So hats off for those who invented it, and hats off even more for those who made it possible to get it here in Nova Scotia. There's not a lot of cystics that benefit from this medication, but there's a couple of new amazing drugs coming out now, and they're really getting great feedback and great results, so we're really on the right track. But I am so thankful that I can live and come up with new dreams now. I've learned that CF is really a gift. It's been the greatest gift that I've ever received in my life, because I've had an amazing life because of it. There's been some really lousy parts of it, but those parts only made me stronger. So if you're going through something really hard, living with this illness, endure it, go through it, don't give up. You can do it, you gotta have faith, but look around you, you're not alone. If it wasn't for CF, I wouldn't be the person I am today. It's completely shaped my life, from being a thin guy to being the public speaker for CF that I have been and am becoming more of every day. I'm asked to speak at a whole bunch of CF events, and I put on my own events, and it's all about raising money and discovering new research for CF so that people with this illness can live another day. Because it can be it is still a very deadly illness, and we need to eradicate it. So the way it's shaped me, it's become my life for the most part, outside of being a family man, being an entertainer, being a musician, being a dad, being a husband. Living with CF is just one of those things that's just, like I said before, it's who I am, it's my norm, and it has completely shaped every aspect of my life, even right down to becoming an entertainer. When I was very, very ill, many years ago, I lost my house, I lost everything I had. I was so sick, and I couldn't afford to live on my own anymore, and I became a nanny for 4 little kids, and the littlest one had a birthday party one time, and we hired a clown for her birthday party. And the grandfather of this little girl said, "Tim, you would be good at that. You should try that." And just from his suggestion, I took that idea and I ran with it, and I learned how to become a professional clown. And I did balloon animals, and I did magic tricks, and I just learned to entertain children. And it was the perfect kind of job for me because it wasn't full-time, and I could do it on the weekends or whenever somebody needed some entertainment. And because of that, that has shaped my life for the past 25 years after taking care of these kids, and it's really been very good for me living with CF. I also became a musician. Just out of high school, I became a musician, and that's really actually been the key thing for me, I think, why I've survived so well, because I learned to play the guitar. I didn't expect to be a singer, but I became a singer because nobody in the band would sing. So I said, I'll just say the words so we know where we are in the song. And then I started to like singing. I became very, very good at it, and I always found it as a barometer for my health. If I couldn't hit the notes that I knew I normally could hit, I knew something was something was wrong with my internal health. So it really has been a very good therapy for me, other than just entertaining to be a singer. I was born in the big old city. It was the best damn time I had ever had. When I think back about that city, the good old memories keep on coming back. I've been involved with Cystic Fibrosis Canada for a very long time. I just turned 50 in January. But I can remember doing my first ever cystic fibrosis fundraiser probably when I was 8 or 9 years old. We had a rockathon. And nope, it wasn't rock and roll. It was sitting in a rocking chair and rocking for 24 hours. And I will always remember that as my first experience working with Cystic Fibrosis Canada. And I've been working with CF Canada my whole life, to the point that I've even created with my wife and my son an amazing event called Squash CF here in the Annapolis Valley, where we launch real pumpkins with a 14-foot slingshot for prizes. And it is the funnest time we'll ever have. It's the funnest time you'll ever have. We also have, I've been also doing walkathons my whole life, bottle drives. I remember doing a Coke Castle where we buried a radio DJ under a pile of crates of Coca-Cola years and years ago, and we had to buy the Coke one at a time to release this guy from his chamber. So CF Canada and my family have been, well, they're an extended family, really. We've been doing stuff together for years and years and years. I have to share my experience with the world and with others with CF, because I'm the poster child for success. In 1968, when I was diagnosed with CF, the life expectancy was 2 years old. My parents were literally told, take this little boy home and love him because he's going to die by the time he's 2 years old. Imagine being given that death sentence. For some reason, I kept living, and my first dream was to live to be 10 years old. And when I turned 10 years old, my parents had the biggest party that any 10-year-old has ever had. And it's just a testament of faith and love and hope and believing. And I've had that in my heart my whole life, is to just believe that you can live, because you can. Yes, there's going to be challenges. And you have to have faith, and you have to work hard, and you have to listen to your doctors. I had the most wonderful doctor for the first 20 years of my life, and his name was Dr. Terry Gillespie. I always put him right up at the ranks of God, my father, and Dr. Gillespie. And they're not always in that order. That's how important this man was to me. He really shaped my life, and I listened to what he had to say. So if I can share any of my experience with those growing up with CF, then I've done my job. You have to take good care of yourself. You have to listen to your doctors. You have to listen to yourself and realize that there are limitations living with cystic fibrosis. It's okay to not be able to do everything that non-CF people can do, be it sports or hold your breath. I was never good at swimming. I couldn't hold my breath that long. I was okay with that. I could do lots of other things. So my mission as a 50-year-old living with CF is to prove to everybody that it is possible to live this long and longer. I even have friends who are older than me, in their 60s. So I look up to them, and thank God I have them. I don't want to be the oldest person with CF. Not yet. I have to connect with people out there who are either living with CF, or who are parents of kids with CF, who are siblings of somebody with CF. It's a very unique life, and only the person with CF really understands what we go through. So I would be remiss if I didn't share my story with the others. My main message is to other people with CF. If those around them can get something from me, fantastic. But I just need people with CF to know that it is possible. I'm the proof. Listen, if you've just got a diagnosis that your child has cystic fibrosis, don't open a book and read about it yet. Don't ask everybody what their opinion is or what they think cystic fibrosis is. Talk to your doctor directly. Hopefully your doctor will give you the real answers. But also do your own research. Cystic Fibrosis Canada is a wealth of knowledge, but the people living with CF are also a wealth of knowledge. We are asked to not be in the same vicinity with another person with CF. It doesn't mean that you can't be. So seek out those people to get the real deal, the real life answers for cystic fibrosis beyond all the medical jargon and all the things you're going to hear. If you talk to someone with CF, they might give you a different angle on it, and it's very positive. When I was young, when I was diagnosed at 7 months old, it wasn't good. Now when you're diagnosed, you are in the greatest time in CF history to be diagnosed with this illness. It's not so scary, and there's lots of amazing treatments out there, and it is not the dark, scary story that it used to be. I'm proof of that. So give me a call. I'll tell you my story. I was born in the big old city. It was the best damn time I had ever had. When I think back about that city, the good old memories keep on coming back. I remember the mornings walking with my brother to school. Come afternoon to early evening, playing till street